Hello and welcome back to Producing Music. My name is Nanwiri, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can make a minimal trap drop. Recently, I've been fascinated with the slower tempo trap drops in the garage songs that I've been making. It can really add an interesting dimension to any track. But enough dilly-dallying, let's get started. An important note before we dive into sound design is I'm going to be making this video from a workflow perspective, meaning the order in which I talk about the elements of the track or the order that I produce them in. Minimal trap drops rely heavily on the drum groove to keep things interesting, yet making it too busy will eliminate the minimal vibe of the drop. So there's this really fine line to grafting the drums. That's why I recommend beforehand picking 3 or 4 sounds that are really sharp and punchy and sticking to those sounds only. For this example, I'm working at 130 BPM since this was the garage song to start off with. I started with the kick, adding a top layer to make it more punchy. Along with the snare, I created a basic groove. I highly recommend adding quick accent kicks and snare hits like this one to keep the listener interested. Next, let's talk a little bit about the bass sound design in this track. But first, if you're enjoying the video so far, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Every interaction has a massive impact on small channels. Thank you, and now on to the bass. I'm using a call and response shout pattern as I talked about in my D&D video. The first sound is just a tom sample I found when I was doing a sample gathering session. These can be helpful if you have 5 or 10 minutes to spare and you're looking for something to do. I love getting on Splice and just poking around for a little bit to find new inspiration. Then, to match the groove of the first hits, I created this heavily layered stab bass sound that's inspired by Tisoki. I'm using 2 foundational bass layers, a transient layer, a stereo layer, and a sub bass. To connect these layers, I used a soft clipper to catch any peaks, then compressed it heavily to glue it all together. By the way, I have everything in this group assigned to a sidechain that's lowering the volume whenever the kick or snare hits. You'll want to find a vocal sample that's 3 to 5 semitones above the key of your track so you can pitch it down or up and it will still sound good.
I don't know if your love is free, so I don't want you to wait for me. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I don't know if your love is free, so I don't want you to wait for me. Oh, yeah, yeah.
For the verse, I pitched it down to A sharp minor and identified some useful sections. For your track, use these bits of the vocal to make a pre-drop phrase.
I don't know if
adding reverb swells is key to making vocal chops sound more dynamic. 2 basic methods you can use to make effective swells are the 100 to 0 method or the 0 to 100 method. The numbers in here reference the dry-wet amount on the reverb. I've alternated techniques here, but to be honest, I think the 0 to 100 method sounds better in general. To spice things up even more, you can add an auto pan that gets more intense as the vocal phrase goes on. Minimal trap requires working with very few elements, so focusing on tiny details makes a big difference. Speaking of tiny details, watch what this chant does to the flow and feel of the drop. To make sure it doesn't interfere with the main elements, I pushed it to the side of the mix by using a delay. To fill in the space between elements, try adding hi-hats, toms, or 808 slides. The goal of these is to add movement without drawing the listener's attention from the main elements. Here, I took a drum fill and put it on beats mode, lowering the sustain by setting the warp mode to beats, selecting transients here, and lowering this value until it sounds good. In addition, I designed an 808 bass in Serum and did a quick slide to sit right underneath the drum fill. Once you finish the drop, you can build it up using a piano, breakbeats, snares, risers, and rain. As per usual, my master just has some EQ adjustments, compression, and a limiter. I really appreciate it if you made it this far in the video. As always, if you learned something or just enjoyed the content, please leave a like and subscribe if you can. It really means the world to small channels. Without further ado, here's the final track.
I don't know if your love is free, so I don't want you to wait for me.